Maybe we need to tear pockets of the veil to send demons back in. All right, back in you go. It's like a three-way call. It's like, I know how that ends. High-level combat, the lore version and theories version. Weisshaupt Fortress is under attack from Ghilan'nain and her archdemon. Let's unpack this. Archdemons equals old gods. Ghilan'nain has an archdemon. This proves the link between old gods and Evanuris. It disproves my initial theory that the Evanuris are old gods. So they are not the old gods. The old gods could have been the High Keepers or the Forgotten Ones, which I will get to. It's a little bit below. Regardless, could be like Corypheus and his dragon. Kill the old god, kill the Evanuris. Okay, if the Evanuris is awakened and freed from the prison, you gotta destroy the archdemon. They could be linked. Their life could be linked to them. And maybe destroying the archdemon when the Evanuris was still in prison, the Solas and Flemeth were collecting. So if not collected, maybe they go find help free because they're their slaves, potentially. There could be something else there too. Solas might have gotten inspired to lock the Evanuris up if the Evanuris locked the old gods up. Archdemons could be entities that were enslaved by the Evanuris or created and enslaved by the Evanuris, which is another possibility. So Ghilan'nain's archdemon could be a previously destroyed old god, not necessarily the two remaining sleeping ones who awaken, which if that is the case, then we might see a resurgence of old gods. Or Razakali and Lucanis are the old gods for Ghilan'nain and Elgar'nan. Which? I believe Lucanis, who's the dragon of night, would be for Elgar'nan, the god of the sun and night. It just fits together. And then the dragon of mystery, Razakali, would be for Ghilan'nain. Solas did not like the old gods being destroyed by the wardens.
That's madness. For all we know, killing the old gods could make things even worse.
So either this means doing so would weaken the hold on the Evanuris in their prison. They could float to them, help free them if they were their keepers or their slaves. If so, now, however, when freed from the prison, then it's time to destroy the archdemon now that the Evanuris are freed. Bit of a layered process there. Or does the Evanuris have a better hold if the archdemon is awakened rather than asleep? The old gods might have learnt from their masters and used and lured the magisters in attempt to free themselves from their prison and their hold from the Evanuris. This means the blight started by an Evanuris, if the archdemons are theirs, which we already kind of knew from Corypheus's reveal and Solas's prison being the same city in the Fade, most likely, if different. However, the city being empty is true because the gods were locked up.
For I have seen the throne of the gods, and it was empty.
And it was already tainted, meaning it got tainted before the locking up. There's a contradiction there of the same city because one is the prison and one is empty. However, they could exist in parallel, as Solas created the veil and sundered that city, could have split it in two, like having two instances of the same location. If not the same city, then BioWare, explain the parallels, because there are so many parallels. Also, the Magisters were looking for the old gods, not the Evanuris. Would they have recognized the Evanuris locked up in there? I mean, maybe they were just blind to them. This is the long shot, I know. Old gods before being dragon archdemons, perhaps they were elves. If whispered to humans through dreams, could be dreamers who could force others into dreams like Solas can. Perhaps the Forgotten Ones, so where the Forgotten Ones theory comes in, and they were forgotten, so to speak. They were altered, they were changed, and people forgot who they truly were, potentially. Solas locked the Forgotten Ones up too, so then maybe the Evanuris did not lock the old gods up. Solas locked the Forgotten Ones below, so in the void, beneath the ground, hence the dragons in the deep road. So maybe the Forgotten Ones are in the void, but then the dragons are possessed by these beings. The Chant of Light preaches that the Maker turned his back on those who became jealous, the old gods. This would then make the Maker an Evanuris. Possibility that the Maker who created Thedas as it is today would be Solas.
It was me
But the Maker preached about in the Chant of Light, God of the Sun, always the Sun, the light of the Maker, the Sun for the Chant of Light. It could have been Elgar'nan this whole time. So the Maker forgot and abandoned his children because he has been locked up this whole time. So this could fit. Glory to the risen gods. They've come to deliver this world. Could reference the Maker's return. Portents of the Maker's return from the Chant of Light. I've read it so many times. I almost know it by heart. 7 times, 70 men of stone immense. Titans must be involved. 7 Titans, 7 old gods, 7 Evanuris locked away. And so there's still a bit of a mystery behind why exactly Solas didn't want the Grey Wardens destroying the archdemons. What did that do if he couldn't collect the souls? Because if they're destroyed, then the soul must be collected. So what does that soul do when collected in comparison to when an archdemon is awakened instead for the Evanuris? If the soul is collected, maybe the archdemon can no longer be controlled. The soul of the archdemon can be controlled potentially by an Evanuris. If it's a forgotten one, there are a lot of unanswered questions still. But this is a huge, massive lore dump right here. It's massive. So here we have a new name for Rook, Esha Thorn, and she doesn't have a Valasleen, so I wonder if that would mean that she was a city elf. But this looks similar to Origin's runes. So it's like some things are unlocked like this and others through the skill trees. This looks like Solas's cutlass. I theorized that we might collect Solas's cutlass at some point. Whether he drops it, when he throws it, because he's empty-handed when he goes into his prison, and he throws the cutlass to destroy the statue that's falling on him. So the warrior here has her weapons over here. This implies that we retrieve it either when we go back or when we wake up in the lighthouse. We have retrieved it. Someone has retrieved it, and we are equipping it. It could be an additional weapon. Either we just have it with us that we can use it as an additional weapon wherever we go, or we are charging it and building up and must collect things to charge it of power, which kind of reminds me a bit like in Jade Empire. We had to collect all those gems to power. I forget what it's called. It's been so long. And so maybe we need to power it up. My suspicion lies in the fact that we use it in certain missions and in certain areas. Maybe there are areas where we need to tear the veil. Solas was using it to tear the veil, and maybe we need to tear pockets of the veil to send demons back in. All right, back in you go. Okay, now bye-bye. And then we zip it back up. So this could be twofold, tearing it up, but also patching it up. And for whatever reason that we need it, even if it's not for that, if it's for something completely different, this proves we find and retrieve and use Solas's cutlass, and we can enchant it with runes. This is the faction, the Grey Wardens, and this must be one of the specializations. There we go, the skill hexagons. I like that there was that bit that shows an example of what it does. We have all the explanations. It was my theory about the circles and the squares. Passive, another circle. This music is really oomphy, epic music, definitely epic music. So this means that the circles are the passive abilities and the squares are the active abilities. There we go. All the companions have been recruited so far. So if all the companions are recruited, we know that the companions are recruited before we find Solas. The companions are all recruited in the first act of the game. If we have Solas's cutlass, I was theorizing maybe he helps us find it, and maybe we need the cutlass to help free Solas. So we find him at last with the help of that potentially. I still think this is before finding Solas. At level 30, I'm saying somewhere deep in the second act. Character cards giving us a look at some of their strengths for some of the combat. So yeah, that goes in line with certain missions require certain characters. We'll have indicators. You'll benefit of this by having this person on this mission. You'll benefit of that by having that person on this mission. So playing a mission, it's not just for the banter replayability. It will maybe unlock and allow for different, not just combat, but for different cutscenes, different possibilities within the mission itself. Oh my crow. there. He just kind of winks at you. It's like, will you select him? Okay, so you select, he just like, you know? Okay, they did say for brevity, they cut out a few things. So maybe when you select them, they say things, you know, in Awakening, Andraste's Knickerweasels, you know, when you deselect Anders, when you select or deselect a companion, when they say something, it makes it fun and dynamic. So I'm hoping that they just cut that out and that they'll say something. Look at that! It's like, oh. Look at that eyebrow arch. Look at me like that, mi amor. Look at me all day like that. Overwhelmed. DarthShadie is overwhelmed. Ooh. Oh. Following Ghilan'nain's orders, when an archdemon is awakened in the past blight, were the darkspawn truly following the archdemon's orders? Or were the darkspawn following the Evanuris' order? Or following the archdemon's orders by proxy, the archdemon following the Evanuris' order? I think that's what it is. The archdemon awakens, blighted, commands the darkspawn as they are programmed to follow the orders of their masters, the Evanuris, relaying those commands. So even if the Evanuris were locked up, complete control for chaos and mayhem, pandemonium all over Thedas, the archdemons were never the ones truly in charge. And so the architect trying to free the darkspawn from the archdemon's hold was an attempt to free from the Evanuris' hold on them. They're enslaved by the Evanuris. It's like a pitiful, twisted turn of fate. Oh man, it's like lorddom right there, just with these little snippets. Oh, we've cut things down for brevity, not to have too many spoilers. Mind blown. All right, look. We've got the curvy horns, we've got the tendrils. Potentially Elgornon dragon form is the double horns, but the upward. This is the one with the downward horns and like the tendril and tentacles. But it is not infused with lyrium or red lyrium. So either it is a previously slain archdemon, revived. Wow. The Grey Wardens said though that did nothing. Origins completely null and void, or they become infused with lyrium/red lyrium later on. I'd prefer that personally. It's too much. It just makes Origins null and void, and already a lot of things in Dragon Age Origins were retconned and became null and void. It needs to make sense in the story. Definitely very Dragon Age-y combat music. Kind of as we've seen it before. The sun is setting or an eclipse is going on. Like, we don't know where in the game the eclipse is going to be. But aside from this, there are shadows in the background. It's not just from the destruction. It's like Sauron's roiling clouds of thunder. It reminds me of that, you know, the dark magic. So we have corruption here, which is like the depleted type of lyrium veins. Glowing red. So I'm guessing red lyrium that cropped up and became tainted with the goop taint, which I believe is Ghilan'nain's taint. And if we're fighting this, then it would make sense that the dragon right now, not tainted in any way, becomes later tainted with red lyrium. Or Ghilan'nain is like, pumps it up with more taint. Oh, are we destroying pots now? Will we enter a shop and destroy all the pots within the shop like Link? Here's a griffin statue on what looks like could be someone's tomb, or it could just be a mantle of some sort. These beings are tainted with red lyrium. We've seen ogres like this one in the 2023 with the Triceratops horn. So these are darkspawn with Triceratops horn, like dinosaur inspired. We had one with like the Triceratops spikes. Like dinosaurs and dragons are said to have like coexisted in legends and myths. And a lot of dragon designs are inspired by what archaeologists reckon dinosaurs look like. These darkspawn possess dinosaur-like features Which leads me to believe that they are enhanced with dragon blood. They're enhanced with Titan blood, tainted Titan blood, the red lyrium. There we go. Even more glowy of red lyrium here with the Ghilan'nain corruption here depleted of lyrium. So it's as though the darkspawn go here to charge themselves. It's like a charging station. They charge themselves of red lyrium, and then it looks like this when it's depleted. The Ghilan'nain's goop, it lures tainted beings. So darkspawn, potentially the Bight Tainted Titan, and Grey Wardens. And so if this is pockets of Ghilan'nain's goop, it would lure them to it. So that's how she would get them to go to it. They drink up with red lyrium. They get infused with red lyrium, charged by it, and then it becomes depleted. There we go. I figured it out. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because it totally makes sense. And that's how she would control them. And they look reptilian, and insectile for the monsters. That's what they look like. And so if they have dinosaur-like features, that then means it doesn't fully corrupt them as when they fall completely into the goop, but it enhances them and maybe it changes them. Or they're already a little bit enhanced and this just charges them more. If they're already a little bit enhanced, why are they not completely transformed into monsters? Where are the actual monsters? And how does Ghilan'nain control them to be only partially altered, partially not complete monsters? So she might have smaller monsters and then the larger ones. Oh man, lots of lores and theories just from that. Oh, did you see? It has tentacle-like features. Not tentacle-like features, but it has that glistening with slime. That is like, ew, impressive transformation right there. Definitely infused with Ghilan'nain's goop. I'm impressed with how that looks. I'm impressed with the detailing. I'm really liking the music. It's amazing music. I didn't talk much about CC in the past, but it is important. I'm into the AoEs to trap the enemies and the dots because damage over time is pretty awesome, you know. But crowd control when you have a lot, but see, AoE is a crowd control. Okay, it's a growth on its shoulder. I thought it was its head. It's not just the red lyrium enemies from Dragon Age Inquisition anymore. They are gooped up. They are red lyrium infused, gooped up, and what happens if you pop it? I'm sorry. Is that Asan, the griffin? So it could be Asan, kind of like Manfred accompanies Emmerich, Asan the Griffin, not my Inquisitor, accompanies Davrin. Lucanis in action! Okay, so here we have a depleted pile of goop, which looks like a pile of poop. I had to say it. It's true! It's true! And here we have a trail going all the way to the deep roads. So this must be what gets the darkspawn out or bringing them down to something, either down to the pool, and maybe there's a titan there. I do believe we will encounter the Bight Tainted Titan. Is the Bight Tainted Titan beneath Weisshaupt? Where is it? When and where do we encounter it? I am convinced that we will in this game, but this trail infused red lyrium infectation. It's leading somewhere or from somewhere. It has a purpose. It looks like those, you know, the breathing that we saw in the concept art and in the behind the scenes. Does it lead to that location? Because it acts just like it. And I believe it does. I believe it leads to the Bight Tainted Titan. I believe it leads to that location, and that location is the Bight Tainted Titan. If not, another breathing being. Either breathing or like pulsing, like heartbeats. It's pulsing. It gets red, and so this gets darker. It's the heartbeats pulsating. It leads to or from a living creature. It has to be the Bight Tainted Titan. Has to be. Oh man. It looks like it could potentially be from what was leaked way back when. It's got spikes. And this yellow lyrium. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised to encounter all the colors of lyrium because the goop stuff, that's with yellow-green lyrium, more like a lime color. So yellow and green extrapolated from that. It's not too far-fetched. It's like the proof of the lyrium. I remember like Was it in the first or second year of this channel? I was talking about the colors of lyrium because of Magic the Gathering. We are seeing that. I'm totally for that. I'm not opposed to different colors of lyrium and a slight inspiration like that. Some devs play Magic the Gathering, so hi! I do believe that it makes sense in the lore. We already saw red lyrium, which was Bight Tainted lyrium. Blue lyrium is pure lyrium, or is it? You know, so different colored lyrium will have different properties and different effects on beings, different responses when interacted with. It makes sense for the lore. It just makes sense. This looks exactly like the kind in the 2020 trailer. These barrels are red lyrium infused, so if I explode them, what happens? It's like red lyrium infused Gatlock or something, you know. It's possible that they were lyrium explosives that got infected when Weisshaupt got attacked. It's like more lore dumps, more theories proven, different colors of lyrium. We're gonna encounter different colors of lyrium. I'm waiting for the green. Oh, but this is a cool pause. It's been so long. I'm just amazed at how many theories and sub-theories have been proven just from this gameplay, and some disproven as well. And I did say this, you know, if it makes sense for the story, then I don't want the Evanuris to be the old gods, and this makes more sense for the story, so I'm okay with that. Other theories I have, see our mage go in the corner there on the right side. Oh, these are cool pauses. I gotta say. That was like some sort of like grapple hook, like a hook shot. Can we play as the companion so that we can see how their powers play out? This image takes place before encountering Solas. Varric has Bianca. It doesn't mean that Varric is dead or anything bad happened to him after the Solas encounter. Varric is just not in the Lighthouse. There are very few characters who are constant characters, no matter what happens in any world state of the Inquisition. Because Solas leaves, Dorian can leave. Vivian, Varric, Cassandra, Leliana, and Cullen. They are the constants. None of them, except for Varric, are there to see what happens to Rook, to see what happens to Solas, to find and speak to Solas, meaning they cannot go find the Inquisitor. Therefore, it is my theory that Varric goes to find the Inquisitor, so that Inquisitor meets Rook at the Lighthouse, and eventually Rook is like the go-between, speaking to Solas in the Fade, speaking to the Inquisitor. Maybe Solas and the Inquisitor through Rook can connect and have a conversation in the Fade, which would be interesting. It's like a three-way call. All right, Solas, we got you. You're in this meeting. All right, Solas, Inquisitor, go ahead. You know? So Varric is alive and well, and then with the Inquisitor, we find Solas. So you found me at last. I suspect you have questions. Solas said that to the Inquisitor before, and so he says that in Dreadwolf form to the Inquisitor with a wry smile, you know? And the Inquisitor's like, forget my questions. Can I snuggle up with you already? You know, like, that's the theory. There was the NVIDIA clip. Obviously, it shows Solas's ritual. It opens with that. More from the gameplay. Impressive angle. Did not see this angle in the gameplay, so I'm guessing this is what was clipped out. This is what Solas is trying to tear up. We are seeing the prison, the ring of the prison, that pocket in the Fade. Each Evanuris, the statue, the spirit linked up, spirit linked up. These are the two that were freed. Do they have a spirit linked up? Does that make them unable to be more stable? Because Solas wasn't trying to move them. I'm still questioning what happened to the others. Because if the archdemons, the old gods, are not the Evanuris, maybe because they are destroyed and Solas and Flemeth collected the spirits, they have a stronger hold in the prison. Whereas Elgar'nan and Ghilan'nain, their archdemons have yet to be awakened, and so their souls have not been collected of those archdemons, and so there's a stronger risk for their hold in the prison to be weakened, and that's why Solas is moving them. Theory. To Vinter, but it does not look Minrathous because it doesn't have the glowy lights. It looks like Verantium. I do believe we will be visiting Verantium based on what we've seen. Deep roads, or a cave, elven ruins, or a portion of the Lighthouse, perhaps. because this is in the Illuvian Crossroads, so it could be a hallway, a gateway, where all the mirrors are. So all the doors to Wonderland. Here we have a mosaic, like a fire pit mosaic, and the Dreadwolf. So Dreadwolf statues, I'm guessing this is within the lighthouse. More like, oh well, there we go. We see the lighthouse is a bit in disarray. So we have the Illuvian from the lighthouse. I like the floor. And look, it looks like a library, shattered library. This proves that previous location was lighthouse. Water trickling. Broken pipe. Someone needs to call a plumber. It could be Minrathous, but it doesn't have it would have to be like the undercity of Minrathous. It kind of reminds me like in Kirkwall, you have the high-end city, you know. Okay, so Minrathous looks like Nar Shaddaa, but Nar Shaddaa and Coruscant, you have the high levels where the elites, the rich, everyone who's anyone, and then you got the slums down at the bottom. So this could be the slums of Minrathous, if it's not Varen. See, we have the lights, Nar Shaddaa lights. So it could be the lower slums of Minrathous. More from the fight, more from things that were cut out from the actual gameplay. Some things we saw, some things we did not. Minrathous. And yeah, impressive. That is a lot of lore, a lot of theories just from that. And they cut things out I'm just like going out of frame here. They cut things out for brevity and like not to put spoilers. I saw all that I could see. Maybe I missed some things too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below of this massive lore revelation from the gameplay. And I'll see you all soon. Masaranas.